Kessler, how can this be real? Nathaniel's voice cut through the tense silence, reverberating off the cold, metallic walls as if daring the cosmos itself to answer. The words hung in the recycled air of the command module, charged with a mix of incredulity and raw fear. The Valiant, once thought to be nothing more than a myth, a relic lost to the void for 20 long years, now floated in Earth's orbit like a pristine monument to a forgotten era. Its hull, gleaming under the distant light of the sun, showed not a single scratch or mark of decay. Every panel was immaculate, as if the relentless barrage of micrometeoroids and the constant onslaught of cosmic radiation had been completely held at bay. Yet, inside this immaculate vessel, the crew's experience defied logic. They had been gone for only 32 days, their memories compressed into a sliver of time that starkly contrasted with the vessel's prolonged absence. "I don't understand," Langley murmured as he joined Nathaniel, his eyes scanning the streaming biometric data on the console. "This ship should bear the scars of a 20-year journey through deep space. Instead, it's as if it never left the cradle of creation, while we've lived through only a fleeting moment." His words were punctuated by the soft hum of machinery, a constant reminder of the impossible contradiction that defined their situation. In the dim light of the control room, where holographic displays cast eerie shadows on the walls, the mystery began to unravel in fragments. Outside the panoramic viewport, the endless stars formed a silent tapestry, indifferent to the chaos unfolding within. Yet here, every tick of the clock was a battle against an unseen enemy, a temporal rift that had seemingly isolated the ship from the natural decay of time, while its occupants were left to wrestle with an inexplicable acceleration of their own aging processes. A low, persistent vibration emanated from the sealed cargo bay, a vibration that carried with it an almost hypnotic rhythm. There, hundreds of cocoon-like structures were arranged in a meticulous yet ominous display. Their surfaces shimmered with a blend of organic curves and mechanical precision, as though nature and technology had been forced into an uneasy alliance. These cocoons were not simple storage containers or relics of a bygone experiment. They were enigmatic vessels that beckoned with secrets of replication, preservation, and perhaps even transformation. Dr. Marisol Vega, the ship's biotechnologist with a reputation for unyielding pragmatism, stepped forward, her gaze fixed on the pulsating shapes. "These cocoons defy every rule we know," she said in a calm yet measured tone that belied the gravity of her discovery. "They appear designed for preservation or perhaps even replication, but there's something fundamentally wrong about them. They're as if the system intended to safeguard our essence has now become a cryptic mechanism altering our very nature." Nathaniel's brow furrowed as he absorbed her words. "So you're saying that what was supposed to be our backup plan, our lifeline in the event of catastrophe, might now be rewriting us, altering our identities in subtle, almost imperceptible ways?" Dr. Vega nodded slowly. "Exactly. Our biometric scans show that while our vital signs remain largely intact, there are discrepancies, minute differences that suggest our genetic blueprints are being rewritten. The replication process, which was meant to secure our survival, is failing us in ways we're only beginning to understand." A cold shiver ran down Langley's spine. "It's like we're living two separate realities at once," he observed, glancing between the flawless exterior of the ship and the creeping distortions in their own bodies. "The Valiant is trapped in a state of timeless perfection, while we're caught in an accelerated, fragmented timeline. How can that be?" In the midst of this charged atmosphere, a young crew member named Elena entered the room, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and resignation. "Last night, I felt my skin, as if it was peeling away, layer by layer," she confessed, her eyes wide with the terror of her own experience. "I woke up feeling like a stranger in my own body." Her admission resonated with a deep, unspoken dread that had begun to spread among the crew. Langley placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, his tone gentle yet laced with urgency. "Elena, we're all experiencing anomalies. It's as if the replication process that was meant to preserve us is now disassembling us piece by piece. Our identities, our very souls, are in jeopardy." In a quieter corner of the ship, Jonah attempted to inject a spark of humor into the dire conversation, though his words were tinged with a bitter irony. "So, let me get this straight," he said with a shaky laugh. "We're slowly turning into patchwork humans, a bizarre mosaic of who we were supposed to be. That's just fantastic, isn't it?" His attempt at levity fell flat, replaced by a heavy silence that spoke volumes of their shared despair. Meanwhile, deep within the ship's labyrinthine corridors, the very architecture of the Valiant began to betray its secrets. Walls that once offered comforting solidity now shimmered with transient distortions. The corridors seemed to ripple and twist, challenging the fundamental laws of physics. It was as if the ship itself was caught in the throes of a cosmic transformation, a crucible where the boundaries of time, space, and reality were being remolded by forces far beyond human comprehension. On the observation deck, where the endless expanse of space met the fragile certainty of human existence, Nathaniel stood alone, his eyes fixed on the infinite void. The stars, like distant beacons of hope, glimmered against the backdrop of absolute darkness. "We set out to conquer time," he whispered to the silent expanse, his voice heavy with both nostalgia and regret, only to have it unravel before our eyes. His inner turmoil was a silent monologue, a litany of shattered dreams and the crushing weight of a truth that refused to be ignored. Soon, a gathering was convened in a makeshift strategy chamber, a room where theory clashed with desperation and every spoken word was a step toward reclaiming a lost identity. Here, Nathaniel, Langley, Dr. Vega, Elena, Jonah, and several other scientists poured over streams of holographic data. The room buzzed with a frenetic energy, as if every calculation, every hypothesis, was a lifeline thrown into the abyss. Could it be, Nathaniel proposed, his voice cutting through the murmurs, that the ship's immaculate condition is maintained by a quantum shield, a temporal bubble that preserves the hull while compressing our lived experience? It's as if time itself has been selectively manipulated. Langley leaned forward, his eyes narrowing in concentration as he studied the fluctuating data. That might explain the paradox we're trapped in. The Valiant remains untouched by the ravages of time, while we're caught in a loop where every second is both fleeting and infinitely long. Dr. Vega interjected, her tone precise and analytical. The energy field surrounding the ship appears to be highly selective. It's maintaining the structural integrity of the Valiant, but it's also interfering with our natural temporal progression. The cocoons in the cargo bay are likely a byproduct of this process, a replication system designed to safeguard us that has, instead, become our undoing. Elena's voice, barely above a whisper, added a note of personal anguish. "I'm scared, because every time I look in the mirror, I see hints of someone I don't recognize. An echo of a person who was once whole." Jonah, ever the skeptic, shot back with a mix of sarcasm and despair. "So, we're not even the originals anymore? Just imperfect copies struggling to hold onto fragments of a past that's slipping away." His words carried the bitter sting of a truth they were all beginning to accept. That as debates raged and theories were tested, the ship itself seemed to respond. In a subtle, almost imperceptible manner, the corridors pulsed with a rhythm that resonated with the crew's mounting anxiety. Every surface, every shadow, appeared imbued with the weight of an ancient mystery, a secret message encoded in the very fabric of the Valiant. Later, in the stillness of the medical bay, Dr. Vega pored over a series of alarming biometric reports. "Our data indicates an accelerated transformation in cellular structure," she explained to a small group of anxious crew members huddled around her workstation. "The replication process is caught in a destructive cycle, a loop of deconstruction and reassembly that's gradually erasing our original genetic identity." Her voice wavered as she described the harrowing details, each word underscoring the urgency of their plight. Nathaniel's expression hardened as he absorbed this grim diagnosis. If our cells are being rewritten against our will, then what remains of us? Are we destined to become mere shadows of our former selves, ghosts trapped in an endless cycle of flawed replication? Langley's response was measured yet resolute. "We have to assume that there's a way to reverse this process. Every anomaly, every slight discrepancy in our data, is a clue, a piece of the puzzle that, when assembled, might show us a path back to who we truly are." In a quiet moment on the observation deck, as the vast cosmos stretched out before them like an endless sea of possibility and dread, Nathaniel confided in Langley, "I've spent my entire life studying the cosmos, believing that the universe is governed by immutable laws. Now I see those laws bending, twisting into shapes I never thought possible. How do we fight against something that defies every principle we hold dear?" Langley regarded him with a somber gaze. "By clinging to our humanity. Even as the ship and our bodies change, our capacity for hope, for dialogue, remains our most potent weapon against the unknown." Back in the strategy chamber, ideas began to crystallize into a tentative plan. We need to conduct a controlled experiment with one of these cocoons, Nathaniel declared, his voice firm as he addressed the assembled group. If we can decipher their energy signature and understand their role in the replication process, we might be able to recalibrate the system and restore our original states. A murmur of agreement rippled through the room as everyone recognized the gravity of the proposal. It's a risky gamble, Langley cautioned. But if there's even a chance that these cocoons hold the key to halting, or even reversing, our transformation, then we must take that risk. Dr. Vega quickly moved to outline the technical details. I'll set up the diagnostic equipment in the cargo bay and begin a comprehensive scan of the cocoons. We'll monitor every variable, energy fluctuations, temporal shifts, even the minutest changes in cellular structure. Our goal is to map the interaction between the ship's protective field and the replication process. Elena, her resolve hardening with every passing moment, volunteered with quiet determination. I'll lead the initial probe. If entering the chamber gives us any insights, I'm ready to take that step. We owe it to ourselves to try. Jonah, ever the reluctant optimist, managed a wry smile. Just promise us you'll come back intact, Elena. We need you to be the one to bridge the gap between who we were and who we're becoming. As preparations for the experiment were set in motion, the ship's internal environment seemed to hold its breath. The corridors pulsed with an almost sentient energy, as if the Valiant itself were aware of the momentous risk about to be taken. In the control room, data cascaded across holographic displays, revealing patterns that defied conventional logic. Nathaniel and Langley scrutinized every reading, each energy spike and temporal anomaly a silent testament to the enigma they faced. There's a rhythm to these readings, Nathaniel observed, his eyes narrowing as he traced the data with a steady hand. It's as if the cocoons are communicating with the ship, sending us signals through this protective energy field. Langley's voice was low and thoughtful. A code, perhaps, a hidden language that ties together the perfection of the ship's exterior with the gradual unraveling of our identities. If we can decode it, we might just be able to recalibrate the field and stabilize the replication process. In that charged atmosphere, every conversation and every observation became a lifeline, a thread in a tapestry of hope woven through the darkness of uncertainty. The strategy chamber, filled with the fervent discussions of scientists and explorers, transformed into a war room against the relentless forces of cosmic change. Each theory was tested, every hypothesis examined with the precision of those who had nothing left to lose. As the experiment commenced, Dr. Vega's steady voice echoed over the intercom, initiating recalibration sequence now. All systems, please record every fluctuation. The holographic displays flickered as the probe was activated, its sensors scanning the cocoon chamber with an intensity that matched the crew's mounting desperation. In that moment, every whispered dialogue and every fervent plea resonated with a singular purpose: to reclaim the essence of their humanity. Nathaniel's voice, now brimming with a determination born of both science and raw emotion, declared, "Every anomaly, every gap in our understanding, has led us to this moment. Let our collective dialogue be the beacon that guides us through the chaos." Langley added, "Our voices, our theories, they are not just data points. They are the very core of our identity. As long as we speak, as long as we question, we will find our way back to ourselves." Elena's report over the intercom was clear yet laced with tension. "I'm in the probe chamber. I can feel the energy pulse around me, a resonance almost like a heartbeat. I'm recording every change. I hope these readings bring us closer to reversing this distortion." Jonah's soft reassurance followed. "Stay safe, Elena. You're our light in this darkness. Every word you send back is a step toward reclaiming who we are." The recalibration sequence unfolded slowly, a delicate interplay of energy, time, and cellular data. Dr. Vega's diagnostics revealed that the energy field signature was beginning to shift, a subtle, yet unmistakable sign that the recalibration might be working. "The data is stabilizing," she announced, her tone a mix of relief and cautious optimism. "Our cellular structures are showing signs of realignment. It appears the anomalies are receding." In that charged instant, the ship's corridors, once fluid and unpredictable, seemed to settle into a semblance of order. The protective energy field shimmered with renewed intensity, as though responding to the crew's collective will. Nathaniel's voice broke the silence, laden with both relief and unwavering resolve. Let this moment be our legacy, a testament to our determination and the power of our shared dialogue. We are reclaiming our humanity, one discovery at a time. Langley, standing beside him with equal parts exhaustion and hope, added, "Every word we've exchanged, every theory we've pursued, has brought us closer to understanding the mystery of the Valiant. Our voices are our lifeline. They will echo through the corridors of time and space, a reminder that even in the face of cosmic uncertainty, we are not lost." As the final phase of the recalibration sequence completed, Dr. Vega's voice resonated over the intercom with measured triumph. Recalibration complete. The replication anomalies are reversing, and our original genetic signatures are reasserting themselves. Our true selves are emerging once again. A collective exhale swept through the control room, a sound of relief intermingled with the bittersweet acknowledgement of the battles fought and the mysteries unraveled. And the lingering silence that followed, Nathaniel and Langley exchanged a glance that spoke of hard-won understanding and unbreakable bonds. "We've done more than just stabilize the ship," Nathaniel murmured, his voice soft yet resolute. "We've begun to reclaim every piece of who we are." Langley nodded, his eyes reflecting the weight of their journey. "Our dialogue, our willingness to confront the unknown, has been our greatest strength. As long as we keep speaking, keep questioning, we will never truly be lost." Even as the Valiant's energy field settled into a stable glow and the holographic displays registered the return of order, the crew knew that their journey was far from over. Every answered question had only deepened the mystery. Every resolved anomaly uncovered layers of complexity that beckoned them further into the labyrinth of cosmic truth. And yet, in that moment of hard-fought clarity, they had taken a decisive step toward reclaiming their identities. In the soft murmur of the ship's systems and the fading echoes of their voices, the crew's determination resonated like a heartbeat, a reminder that even amid the incomprehensible vastness of space and the relentless march of time, the human spirit endures. Their conversations, their debates, and their shared hopes had bridged the gap between science and the inexplicable, weaving together a tapestry of resilience that would carry them forward into whatever mysteries awaited. With the recalibration complete, Nathaniel's final words echoed with an assurance that transcended the darkness. "Let our voices be the light that guides us, today, tomorrow, and for every moment we have in this vast, uncharted cosmos." And as the Valiant sailed on through the silent expanse, the crew's united dialogue promised that no matter how the future unfolded, they would always find a way to reclaim the truth of who they truly were.